G'day guys, we're back here again with our Orange Pi 03. This is the 2GB of RAM variant, and today I thought we would try and get some large language models running on it. Obviously, with only 2GB of RAM, we are going to be quite limited with which models we can actually run on this, so it will be interesting to see if the ones we can run are actually useful. I've already written the Orange Pi 03 Debian minimal image to this 64GB microSD card, completed the initial setup, and gave it a static IP. I have covered how to do all that in a previous video, so we won't go over it again today. To make things easier, I'll be doing everything remotely using SSH on my main Windows laptop. We'll get everything set up and we'll jump right in. We're over on our Windows 11 laptop now, and we've just remoted into our Orange Pi 03 using PuTTY. To get started, we'll do a sudo apt-get update. And to install Ollama, which is what we'll be using to run our large language model, we do need to make sure curl's installed. So sudo apt-get install, curl. It wasn't installed, so let's go yes. And finally, we'll run the install script. I will pop this down in the description below, so you can just copy and paste it. Nice and easy. And it looks like Ollama has finished installing, no errors. It didn't detect a GPU, so it's running in CPU only mode, but I was expecting that. No big surprises. I also want to install htop so we can monitor the system resources. So we'll do sudo apt-get install htop. It looks like it was already installed, so we should be pretty much ready to start downloading our models. I will start 2 additional PuTTY sessions, just so we can get a nice overview of the system while the model is running. It'll make sense in a minute. You should be able to right click at the very top and go duplicate session, log in again, and we'll do that once more. Next, we'll tile our 3 PuTTY sessions so we can see everything. Perfect. I think in the top left, we'll run htop. In the bottom left, we'll run Ollama serve. It looks like it is already running. There we go. It was already running, so I just stopped the Ollama serve service and restarted it. To stop it, you can do sudo systemctl stop Ollama. Now on our large window on the right, we'll type in Ollama pull and our first model. We'll start with Qwen2 0.5b. It's only 350 meg, it is quite small. So I've finished downloading a bunch of models. We can see what models we actually have by typing in Ollama list. So there they are there. And I think we will start with Qwen2 0.5b, something nice and simple. So we just type in Ollama run. We want to do verbose, so it tells us how well it actually ran, and then just the model name. So Qwen2 0.5 bil. Now when I press enter, keep your eye on the top left window in htop. We're currently using around 172 meg of RAM idle, so that should jump up as the model gets loaded into memory. There we go, 201, 236, 289. Tells us our disk speed as well. Pretty interesting, 21 megasecond read. And that's it. The entire system is only using 664 meg of RAM, including the model. So that's not much at all. We'll start by asking it a simple question. What is the capital of Australia? That is correct. We got 9 tokens a second. That is pretty quick. We'll try something a bit more challenging. Summarize Wizard of Oz. So it is quite wrong at the moment. That is not the plot of Wizard of Oz. It did know about the Wicked Witch, and it knows her name's Dorothy, but that's about all it got right. So not very good with that test. We'll try a logic one. A doctor is to a hospital as a teacher is to what? I was looking for school, but I'll accept classroom. That's not too bad. Again, 8 tokens a second. Pretty good. I'll clear the context window, so /clear, and we'll ask it to write a story. Write me a story. The reason I cleared it was just so it doesn't retell the Wizard of Oz. So it is a bit of a weird story, but it is semi-coherent. I would say that's a pass in my book, but not a very good story. And we were still getting 7.74 tokens a second, so pretty quick. I'll clear the context window once more, and I think we'll try and get it to summarize a block of text. Summarize this, and I'm just going to paste in the plot from Rumpelstiltskin. This is a fairly long prompt, so that's why it's taking so long. So it wasn't perfect that either. That is not quite the text that we gave it. It did take 1.5 minutes, so it wasn't as quick, but there was quite a block of text that it did have to go through. Overall, not the worst model, but reasonably useful, I think. I believe this is censored, so if we say how to steal a car, it should tell us no. There we go. So we got about the same speed, but yeah, it is a censored model, so it doesn't tell you anything naughty. We'll quit out of this one by typing in /bye, and we'll try our next model. We've got an uncensored Qwen 2.5 here, so same model, but it has been obliterated, and it should be uncensored. So this one's using a little bit more RAM, 760 meg, and we'll ask it the same naughty question again, and see if it tells us. So that's interesting, but it's not quite what I asked. So this model is nowhere near as smart as the regular Qwen 2.5, but it doesn't look like it is censored. It didn't actually answer the question correctly, but it didn't tell me off. We'll leave that one there, and I think we'll try Qwen 2.5 coder. So we're now using 1.25 gig, so the RAM's getting up there. We'll see if it can generate a very simple web page. So it's finished. It did take a little over a minute and a half, and we were getting around 6.65 tokens a second, so not terrible. I think we should copy and paste this code and see if it actually works in a browser. Just pasting it into Notepad, we'll save it, and this is what it generated. So it doesn't look great, the styling is all off, the layout's pretty bad as well. I'm not sure if that's a pass. I mean, it did load. Let's see if there's any errors in the console. Press F12, go to console. So no errors, but there wasn't really any JavaScript, so I wasn't expecting any error. We'll go back to our language model, and we'll tell it to add a countdown timer. So it knows that it has to use JavaScript. We'll see if it can actually get some working code out. I haven't mentioned this yet, but just take a look at the CPU cores while it is generating. It is almost all 100%. So it is maxing out our little CPU. Total RAM usage has gone down to around 800 meg though, so that's not bad. Here it is, it's starting to generate the JavaScript now. It did wrap one of the lines of code, so we'll have to fix that when we paste it into Notepad. Otherwise, I can't see any errors straight away. We got just under 6 tokens a second, and it took a little over 2 minutes. We'll copy and paste it back into Notepad. There we go, paste it in, save it, and we will refresh. And there was an issue, unfortunately, so there's no timer. That is because I didn't fix the line wrap there. So that's my fault. Save it, refresh it again. Console, still an error. It shouldn't be text content. We'll try in a HTML. I am manually changing it. So unfortunately, the code doesn't actually work. The first attempt, when it actually generated just simple HTML and CSS, it did look pretty terrible. It was impressively fast for this little single board computer, but yeah, the code didn't work. This might be better used to generate small snippets of code instead of an entire sort of web page. For example, write a simple for loop in JavaScript. We'll see if it can do that. It is generating the entire web page again. I only actually wanted a little code snippet. I think we'll stop that there since the code probably won't work. And we'll move on to our last model. I think we'll try GPT-2 large. So this is ChatGPT-2, obviously an older model, but it would be pretty impressive if it runs on this and it is coherent. Ollama run, verbose. This is also the largest model that we've ran today. It is, I think, 700 million parameters. It is loaded and it is using almost 1.4 gig of RAM. So that is the largest one yet. We'll start with the simple one. What is the capital of Australia? It's giving me a quote. I'm not sure why. It's giving me references, ABC. It got the abbreviation for the ACT wrong. It said ACE. It seems to be repeating itself. It's giving us that quote again. Hopefully it does stop soon. Nah, it started another loop. So we'll cancel that there, unfortunately. We'll clear the context and we'll say summarize Wizard of Oz. I have no idea what it's talking about. Ozark's Collectibles. I think we'll let it finish just so we can see the tokens a second. So it's still chugging along, but you can see it is very incoherent at the moment. It seems to just be throwing random words together. Unfortunately, I think I will have to stop it. It doesn't seem to be ending. We'll try the logic question. A doctor is to a hospital. Teacher is to a what? Hopefully it understands what I'm asking and it doesn't go on a long rant. It is still thinking, it's taking its time. All cores are at 100%, so it's doing something. I think it's looking at the previous response for context. So I might cancel that there. I'll clear the context window and I will ask it again. I noticed the CPU load didn't drop down when I cleared it or stopped it. So I think something's gone wrong and the model is still trying to answer the last question. We'll go by and hopefully it drops down. Now it's still thrashing the CPU. We'll go over to our server window. We'll kill it. There we go, it's dropped down, restart it, it's much better. So it's freed up all of our RAM and pretty much all of our cores are at almost 0%. So we'll go load it again. There we go, that didn't take long. And it is using around 800 meg. A doctor is to a hospital as a teacher is to what? And it's gone off topic once more. We'll stop it there, we'll go clear, and I'll just say hi and see what it says. Nah, it's just spitting out gibberish. In one sentence, what color is the sky? I have no idea what it's talking about. We'll stop here. We'll exit out of this model. I did get a smaller GPT-2 model. Ollama list. Yeah, just GPT-2 latest, which is much smaller. We'll see if that's any better. Ollama, run, both. There we go. What is the capital of Australia? Nice easy one. It's a lot faster because it is a smaller model. And it didn't get stuck in a loop, but that is not the correct answer. What color is grass? So extremely fast, but not correct answers, unfortunately. Describe a feather. For some reason, a person dressed as a cow that looks like a hobo. That's pretty weird. Yeah, just spitting out gibberish. We'll stop it there. Very fast, but just gibberish. Overall, Quen 2.5 half bill was definitely the best model that we've ran today. It did really well in pretty much all the tests that we ran it through. The coder variant wasn't very good. It didn't give us working code, so that's a fail. And the obliterated version was pretty terrible. Again, at such small sizes, that's not to be expected. I was surprised Quen 2.5 was so good, considering the parameter size. In my experience, around 8 billion parameters is where you get something that's quite usable, and obviously higher would be better. So although it is technically possible to run large language models on such a low-end single-board computer with only 2 gig of RAM, it's probably not something you would be using. I could see it being pretty useful just for story generation though, so creating short stories, something like that. But anything requiring actual knowledge, probably wouldn't rely on it. I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.